All right, everybody. So today is day 6 of my juice fast, solid food vacation. If you can hear the wind, I've got the door open because there's like a crazy storm. Like it's about to hit. Like the wind is just rustling so hard in these trees and stuff. I'm just kind of nice. I mean, it's gonna probably be like a really heavy storm, but it's nice to have the door open and just hear the sound and get the fresh air. But yeah, so today's day 6, and today has turned into an unintentional complete dry fast. I just haven't felt thirsty at all today. More tired than anything. I think that I slept more last night than I have in a couple of nights. And then this morning I had a class at 9:30, and I talked with my friend Joe for a while, and I ended up taking a nap, and then I had a class at 2. Um, and I've just really been relaxing in bed all day. My leg is healing like so quickly. It's looking so much better. It's still like pretty wet. Like I think what's happening is like some of the skin that was kind of like in between the really big parts of the burn have kind of like been removed, and so it's all just like trying to heal up. So I had it like wrapped, and then I eventually like went into the shower and took a shower head and turned the water like at a comfortable like warm to put the water on the bandages and the gauze to help it like come off, because it was a little bit stuck, like it had dried to the burn. So I'm honestly surprised at how it looks today. And I think that being in the sea yesterday and in the sun with it, and like the fresh air and the heat and everything just helped to dry out a lot after the sea cleaned it really well. So that's good. Yeah, so that's good. So again, like I said, today has turned into an unintentional dry fast, and I haven't touched water or anything at all. Like, just been in bed tired. I'm still. I feel like I'm still like in this limbo of what am I doing. Not when it comes to the fast. The fast feels good, but like I booked this flight, right? Well, these flights. There's like 4. I booked these flights, and I had a conversation with my mom a little bit last night, and it basically turned into her telling me that like me going home means my she and my dad are like forcing me to go to therapy. Um, so that doesn't feel good, and it's making me really question like is going back to the States, and especially back to like having to live with them for a while, like really for my best interest, especially because I know that my mom thinks that I have mental and emotional problems, like, and I'm pretty sure that they probably think I have an eating disorder because, like, they don't understand what it's like to be so aware of what food does to you. And, like, sometimes when you eat outside of that awareness, like, for me especially, I was getting really, like, hard on myself about it because I knew that I could do better and that I was, like, making not the best decisions, even though, like, the food that I eat compared to the majority of, like, compared to the entirety of my family, like, yes, they will eat, like, fresh foods, but they cook all of it. Sometimes they make a salad, but they eat these, store-bought salad dressings with tons of oil, tons of salt, tons of whatever. They eat meat, they eat dairy, they eat processed food, they'll cook vegetables, right? They'll cook some vegetables, but it's like slathered in butter, blah blah blah. So whatever. So that's their choice, but like at the same time, they don't think twice about it. Like, but for me and my awareness of what it means to eat these food things and what it's actually doing to my body, like I would mentally like get upset with myself, and emotionally like beat up on myself, really. So they look at that as, oh, I have an eating disorder and blah, 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 especially because, like, I won't say that I have an eating disorder. I definitely don't, but I was going through very inconsistent spouts of disordered eating. You know, like, I would fast, then I would eat, then I would fast, then I would fruit, then I would, you know, eat and like cooked food and blah, blah, blah. Not like it was always vegan. Sometimes it would be like, okay, I would eat Taco Bell burritos. Yeah, that's trash food, obviously, but like vegan, whatever, you know. So it was just all like, my biggest problem was inconsistency. I wasn't being consistent with what I was doing. And what I have found really is that it's hard to make consistent changes. It's a very, very difficult thing to make consistent changes in your eating habits for me, because when I participate in the act of putting something in my mouth and chewing it and eating, like the entire experience of eating, and it doesn't matter what I eat, even if I eat fruit, it will trigger me to want to just keep eating. And I kind of like commented this to a friend the other day on Instagram, and she was like, you know, I wanted to go raw for 10 days, and then it pulled out all of this, you know, eating disorder triggers and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know, when you take away the act of eating and say you're just going on juice or you're doing this liquid diet or whatever it is, then it doesn't trigger you as much. Like, I don't feel triggered at all, honestly, because in my mind, putting something in my mouth and chewing it, that, you know, I've heard people say chew your juice or whatever, but I don't really do that. But like, the act of putting something in my mouth, to chew it, to swallow it, isn't an option. I'm on juice. I'm on liquid. I'm doing juice. I've only really had juice. I've had a little bit of water, but like coconuts and fresh orange juice, and maybe I'll go to a juice bar and get a juice, but like, that's it. Those are the only options that I have, because those are the options that I'm choosing to have. So I'm not triggered to eat. You know, sometimes I look at things online or, you know, what have you, and there could be like a trickle of a thought that says like, oh, you know, that would be good, but that's not in the realm of my options. My options are, I have 7 coconuts in the fridge. I have water, and I could go up to the bar, buy a juice. I could go into town and buy the fresh orange juice, or like there's another little juice bar that's way cheaper than just going up to the bar here at my resort, and get a juice. So yeah, so there's that. But yeah, so anyway, so that brings me back to just, you know, like, I also like had a conversation with Ronnie, and he was like, why don't you write a list of the pros and cons of, you know, staying here in Thailand or going back home. And the list of pros here, it's huge. It's huge for me. I love this island. I love it so much. You know, I get the sea and the sun and the sand and swimming, and there's community, and things are starting to open up again, and the weather and the abundance of fresh tropical fruits, and the coconuts, especially for the fast, the coconuts are perfect. You know, it's like the most, like, I don't have to do anything other than open a coconut and drink it. I don't have to juice it. I don't have to, you know, and they're also like the cheapest option as well, because I can get 4 coconuts for about $3 or less. I could even get 5 coconuts for about $3 depending on where I go. And that's a lot of liquid. And, you know, you buy like 10 of those and have that for the day and you're good, right? So, and then just the cost of living. Like, being here in Thailand means I can find affordable housing completely furnished for like not even $150, you know? Or like not even like $300. Like $300 for a month, totally furnished home, and it can come with a kitchen, it could come with air conditioning, like whatever. you know? So it's just like, why would I why would I go back to the States? Especially now that my mom is like straight up threatening me, saying like, this is not an option, like, you come here, you have to get help, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying that people shouldn't see therapists, but I don't see a therapist as being someone who can help me because they don't understand the experiences that I'm living. They, especially in Michigan, like, and maybe this is just me like putting judgment out there, but at the same time, if I were to speak to someone, I want it to be someone who understand what it's like to not eat whatever you want, and someone who thinks that like you need food and that food is good for you and that you should have a balanced diet and that, oh, it's okay to drink alcohol sometimes, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, when really like your health should be the number one concern of your life. Like, health is the only thing that brings you everything that you could want and need in this life, because it's the only thing that you have to create is health. And then everything can happen stemming from that. And, you know, I'm not saying that people are bad if they eat this or do that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing about it is that people are just unaware. They don't have a clue. And it's not my job to like force someone into making a change. Like, yes, this is what I can do. I can make a video. I can live the experience and say, okay, I'm on 6 days without anything to chew and swallow. I've had juice, I've had water, and today I've had absolutely nothing. And look at me. Like, I feel like my skin is bright and my face is slimming and like my eyes are shining, you know, like I am being the example that I can be to show people you don't need to load yourself up with all of this food stuff that you've been told is good for you, or at least you should just eat because it's enjoyable and makes you feel better, or it makes you stable, or it keeps you neutral. That's not true. It keeps you like literally intoxicated, because what's happening is everything that you're eating is coming together and mixing, and it's fermenting, and it's creating an alcoholic like response. Like it's creating alcohol in your body. So whether you want to believe it or not, like if you're eating this way, you're probably like at some level of drunk. Like it really is being at a level of drunk. And you know, it's funny when people will do those alcohol tests, even if they haven't had alcohol, and they still blow numbers. That's because you're creating alcohol in your stomach, especially if you're combining fruit with anything else, because that fruit is going to ferment, and that's what's going to create the most alcohol. I remember when I first learned about all of this stuff that my friend was telling me, who is a detoxification specialist and worked to study under Dr. Robert Morse after doing a lot of other detoxification courses and this and that, that someone ate oatmeal and then they ate watermelon on top of the oatmeal, and then they went driving, got pulled over, and blew numbers. And that was because of the watermelon fermenting, because the oatmeal was taking too long to move through, and the watermelon wanted to go through faster, and it fermented and created alcohol. And that person blew, and they got like pulled over, or they got like arrested or something because they blew. Even though they hadn't had any alcohol, they created it, you know? So I don't know. And it's been also very difficult because the person I'm living with, my whatever, boyfriend, partner, not in a relationship, I don't know what the hell we're doing right now, excuse my language, but he is doing really well, eating only mangoes. He's over 90 days now, amazing. But he does not He believes that eating the raw food diet is the best, and this is his first time ever experimenting with a monofruit diet, which I think if you're eating is the best, is a monofruit diet, because of what I talked about yesterday, where you're eating different things and the different digestive enzymes have to be produced. But if you're eating only one thing, then your body is already continuously producing the same digestive enzymes, so it's totally like happy to work that through, you know. But with his introduction into the raw food diet, he learned things from people like Dr. Douglas Graham, and Durian Rider, Harley Johnstone, and people like that who, you know, promoted the raw food diet, but totally disregard the emotional and energetic and the detoxification process that I was introduced to through Dr. Robert Morrison, reading Arnold Ehret's books and everyone like that. And then I was taking it a step further when I discovered the path to the pranic lifestyle and the people that I follow now, and I go to for information about this lifestyle of needing less, eating less, and becoming more nourished through different ways, as in like bringing more breath in, fresh air, sunlight, the minerals, being barefoot and going out and being in nature and filling yourself up. You know, like this is always such, how do I want to say this? So it's not an uncommon theme when you find someone who says like, oh, I'm so in love, I can barely eat. And that feeling, you're literally being nourished by that feeling of love, that you're not hungry. And that's not an uncommon thing that people have experienced before. And that can happen all of the time. And the thing about that, though, is these people are using a romantic love to replace the self-love that they're not giving themselves. And so they do feel filled up from that, but it doesn't last. But this form of taking care of yourself and committing to your health is the self-love that you nourish yourself with. And I feel like I'm continuously penetrating my cells with the love that I have for them, because I'm giving them what they need, or in this case right now, what they don't need. I'm not giving them what they don't need. And they have asked me, we're not thirsty today. We need more time to focus on cleaning and healing this burn and everything else. And I don't have a question in my mind about what I needed to do for myself today. I'm still like I've said, still confused about what I'm doing with these flights, especially because I booked them in such a hasty emotional state and I didn't have the money to do it. Used my mom's credit card, and my parents are so very like money driven, where they're like, you need to pay us back and blah 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 blah, whatever. That's their thing, it's their money. But I just put myself in debt. I didn't have that money to book those flights home. Why did I do that? And I'm not sitting here trying to like beat myself up about it, but I feel like an idiot for doing that. Like, I'm frustrated in myself for not sitting with those emotions. It was more of just an emotional process starting, and I didn't sit with them. I just reacted to them, and I feel so stupid about that. Like, just so frustrated, because now I'm, like $1,400 in debt, and I was doing so well to clear my debt up, and I barely had any left, and I just put myself in debt again, and I'm just like, and the funny thing is that my parents support debt. Like, they support creating debt, and that's on them. That's all they know. They don't know any better. But this is, again, something else I was talking with Ronnie about earlier, was that, like, he was like, I don't really understand your parents and their relationship with you and money, because, like, they encouraged you to go to college when you didn't have money for it, and now you're still paying for it, and they encouraged you to buy a car when you didn't have money. And, like, my parents were raised
to put themselves in debt. And that's what they passed on to their children. But I've been doing so much to break myself free of that, and I just totally like allowed myself to feel weak and feel small and look to my mom again for support, and she just debt again. You know, she wasn't like, oh, you feel stuck, let me help you come home. No, it was, no, you come home and you can book the flight, but you have to pay me back. That's just throwing me back into the cycle of debt again. It's just like, oh my God, I'm frustrated about it. And I don't want to leave, especially now that they're threatening me to have to go to therapy, and I don't want to be under their roof again. I really don't. So I'm not leaving this island, like, until I absolutely have to, and the country is making me leave. But I'm not leaving this island. Like, I'm not doing it. You know, I'm not doing it. This is what I've been waiting for my entire life, to be somewhere like this. And now that I'm here and I think that I have to run away and put myself through more suffering and do things for people that aren't doing the things for themselves, like, that's not my job. And I was so caught up in thinking that it was, thinking that I had some sort of responsibility for these people who completely, like, shut me out after I, you know, did this or did that or whatever, and they turned their backs on me, like, and I don't blame them, because people, like, whatever, but, like, why do I keep thinking that I have to show up for them if they're really not showing up for me? You know, like, I think that I was thinking, like, oh, I was so supported and I was this and I was that, but everyone does everything out of a selfish motive, whether they want to admit it or not. And, like, you can do something selfishly. That's okay. Like, it's okay to put yourself first and make a decision to do the right thing for yourself. And a lot of people around you will call that selfish, but, like, you can do something that's selfish that's going to benefit you, or you can do something that's selfish that's not going to benefit you. But at the end of the day, every decision that each individual person makes is going to be selfish. So I can be selfish and say, I'm not going to go back. And maybe I won't pay my mom back. Who knows? Maybe I will. I'm still trying to work through the blocks that I have around receiving money and allowing myself to do things to receive money. And I'm, you know, like, that's something I'm still working on, because I still feel like I'm in some sort of a mindset of lack around that, and thinking that, you know, like, having whatever thoughts about money that I have that have probably been things conditioned in me by my parents because of the way that they view money, you know. So, like, yeah, thanks for tuning in for my rant. I didn't expect to get so animated and worked up, and I don't really feel worked up, but, like, just so amped, and yeah, just animated is a really good way to describe it, about what I'm doing and what I'm going through and what I'm trying to figure out what to do. But day six, I would love to, like, talk to any of you if you guys have any, you know, thoughts or questions or whatever, you know. Like, I was talking to my friend Joe yesterday, and, you know, at one turn I was saying I don't really feel supported by my parents in the way that I need to be supported, and that I was thinking, you know, like, I feel supported by Ronnie, but there's still a part of me that feels like he doesn't really truly support me either, because no matter what, he's got his way of living, and that's his truth, and I've got mine, and we don't agree. Like, there's a lot that we can agree on and do agree on, but at the same time, it's still like we're still running parallel. It doesn't intersect. It doesn't intertwine. Like, it's still not, you know. So yeah, going strong on the fast. Totally fine with that. I'm having no problems with it. It's now everything else that I'm beginning to uncover that I'm just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But, yeah, I'll tune in and see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow marks 7 days. Feeling good, whatever. I'll figure everything out, but, oh God. I'm looking for my answers, you know. I thought I made the next right move. Now I don't know. But yeah. Oh, and if anyone watching this does any sort of human design and wants to hook me up with a reading for mine, that would be amazing because I'm getting really, really, really interested in this. Yeah, so that's it. Okay. See you guys later, and thanks for watching.